the continuation of the two saga series of spooky short stories. Short Story 2, The Homunculus of the Depths, Little Shadow Man. A dialogue of Kriseth and Leon. Scene 1. Kriseth, what would you do if Little Shadow Man leaped out of your penis? Would you be scared? He looks at you confusingly and runs under the bed. Would you kill him? Leon, I mean at first I'd obviously be very confused too, but I'd lean under the bed and try to talk to him. Calm him down. Tell him that it's going to be okay. I'll ask him to return from whence he came, but he'll shake his head and cry, "Don't make me go back there." So I promise him that I'll find him a new penis, a new home. And so begins our 4-year-long search for his new home. Every time the Little Shadow Man says there's no point, that he can't search any longer, I tell him, "Don't give up, I'll find you a dick to call home, just you wait." 3 more years pass. I finally find someone who is willing to let him live in their dick. I rush home to tell him the good news. I hear opera music playing loudly from my house. I burst open my door to find the Little Shadow Man hanging limp from the ceiling, his neck tied to a frayed piece of string. A note on the table that reads, "I'm sorry." "Why, what about you?" Kriseth, "Nah, I think I'd try and talk to him. I'd take a more optimistic take and convince him to come out clubbing with me and the gang." Leon, "He'd get squashed in the club." Kriseth, "We'd make our way out. He's naturally a shy dude." He connects eyes across the dance floor with a girl. They turn quickly, pretending not to notice. I convince him to go talk to the girl, but he resists. I push him over to her. "Oh, hey, how are you?" After an awkward introduction, they start talking. He comes out of his shell, he cracks jokes. He was always the heart and soul of the party despite his introverted nature. Before he knows it, he's making his way to her apartment. They're outside her door, and they both have this special feeling inside them. They kiss. It's hot. It's passionate. The kissing continues all the way to the bedroom as things are getting more and more steamy. In a semi-drunken, semi-love-filled blur of a night, he wakes up in the morning delirious and hungover. "Where am I?" He glances over to this girl laying sleeping. A brief 9 months pass and Little Shadow Man Jr. is born. They start a family together. He gets a job. They get engaged. Everything they could ever want in life, they have. They have each other, and the happiness and love they all have together is blissful. The fond memories they share. The good times they have, being there for one another, helping each other, making each other laugh, the special intimacy they have. Buying each other gifts, even the small things like, "I love you," before bed. Holding hands in the street. A kiss on the cheek. The regular fragrance of their favorite perfume. A warm embrace when you feel down. The trust. The love. Their lives became tangled together so tightly that life without each other is life not possible. They have their own flesh and blood, a baby child, to cherish forever. But as more and more time passes in the marriage, the bills stack up. They're both working separate jobs late into the night. The nanny cares for the child, but he needs his parents who he sees less and less. The elderly grandparents need care. Everyone is relying on Little Shadow Man. He swirls into stress and depression. He takes medication, but the stress mounts every passing day. He becomes more irritable and grumpy. He pushes away his wife who he won't make love to anymore. He can't look his son in the eyes because he can't stand the guilty feeling that he's not a good enough father. He is made redundant when his company goes bankrupt. He snaps. In an emotional supernova of anger and tears, a divorce is called. He moves out. Little Shadow Man Jr. grows up without really seeing his father. Little Shadow Man resorts to drugs and prostitutes for a couple brief moments of pleasure in his world of darkness. Little Shadow Man cannot go on no more. On one dreary fateful night, he writes a letter to his prior loving wife, "I love you. I'm sorry I wasn't good enough. He crawls back into the cockhole he came out of, never to be seen again. Leon, okay, how did you know that their sex was passionate and hot? Were you watching? Also, how did he impregnate? Did he like go spelunking in there? And I feel sorry for the little shadow man, I gave him such a grim story and your story was much more optimistic before turning very dark. Also in this scenario, is he crawling back into my dick or yours? I need to know, it's important. Kriseth, do you remember? It was a stormy, grisly night when you, Leon, hear a knock at the door. You answer and see little shadow man, he has a bottle of whiskey and has not shaved for months. Hey, little shadow man, how's it going? He bursts into tears, Leon, I need your cock. Leon looks little shadow man dead in the eye, they both nod simultaneously. Now Leon, with his penis out, hunches down towards the ground. Little shadow man, crying loudly, takes a tremendous run up, and with one massive leap of glory, he dive-balls into Leon's dick hole. Leon lets out a scream of anguish as little shadow man resides back into the realm he originated from. Some say little shadow man is still alive, and sometimes exits Leon's penis when he sleeps. We may never know the truth of him. Little Shadow Man Jr. went on to become a very prolific athlete, and an active advocate for shadow people equality. On that drunken night, Little Shadow Man merely replicated the moves he witnessed Leon do many a times before. Leon, wow. I was not ready for this conversation. Very powerful and also very graphic. I don't think I'll be able to sleep well tonight knowing there could be a living man inside my dick. Kriseth, there could be a little shadow man inside us all.